You know the feeling. You are completely overwhelmed, sinking under the weight of your own stress, your deadlines, and your life. Yet, even as the water rises, you find it physically impossible to reach out and ask a friend for a simple favor. People who refuse to ask for help are frequently called stubborn. They are told they have too much pride or an ego that prevents them from admitting defeat. Psychology points to a different origin. This behavior is a deeply ingrained survival mechanism. Your brain is executing a strategy designed to keep you safe, which presents a paradox. If carrying every burden in silence is so utterly exhausting, why does the human nervous system continuously choose that pain over simply accepting relief? Refusing a lifeline is the outward signal of a nervous system still working to protect itself from a perceived threat. Take a look at this diagram. On the left, we see a typical open social support network with interconnected nodes. But on the right, we have a closed-loop, isolated system. In psychology, this is known as low social dependency. Because hyper-independent people spend so much of their lives being highly self-sufficient, their brain defaults to figuring things out inside this closed loop, rather than seeking external rescue. This creates a friction point when someone actually offers assistance. To a highly self-sufficient nervous system, receiving care can feel alien, unpredictable, and deeply uncomfortable. To the hyper-independent person, receiving help often carries an invisible price tag, the persistent, heavy sensation that their needs are actively inconveniencing others. This leads to the constant minimization of personal needs. You might find yourself apologizing simply for wanting support, or experiencing intense guilt if you try to rest while someone else is working. The brain isn't rejecting the help itself. It is reacting to the intense guilt that often follows the moment someone else steps in to help. It is easy to mistake this extreme isolation for a lack of feeling, but people who refuse help are typically highly emotionally aware of everything and everyone around them. This diagram illustrates a risk assessment tool called guarded empathy. Notice the semi-permeable barrier. It allows outward emotional awareness, so the person can read the room and care for others, but it actively blocks inward vulnerability. They calculate exactly how much it costs to care without exposing themselves to harm. Asking for help requires dropping that psychological armor. To the guarded brain, exposing those inward vulnerabilities means risking profound disappointment, rejection, or neglect. This isolation serves as a highly calibrated defense mechanism designed to prevent emotional bankruptcy. To understand why the brain builds this armor, we have to look back at the developmental years. This adaptation often takes root in childhoods marked by inconsistent or unstable emotional support. This dual-axis chart tracks a child's chronological age against the weight of the responsibilities they are carrying. When a child is expected to manage complex emotional environments or adult tasks long before they are developmentally ready, we see a steep imbalance. Psychology calls this parentification. As we extend this timeline forward, we see how the child's brain adapts. Notice how external support flatlines to zero. To survive this gap, the brain permanently stops expecting rescue or comfort, resulting in a massive spike in self-reliance. This is survival independence. The child successfully learns to stay calm, to mature quickly, and solve problems alone. But in doing so, they hardwire the belief that their own feelings and needs must always come last to avoid being a burden to those they rely on. Hyper-independence is the psychological scar tissue left behind by a childhood where radical self-reliance was the only available path to safety. If this maps onto your own life, know this: your nervous system operated perfectly. It successfully adapted to extreme pressure when it mattered most. You learned responsibility before safety, and you learned strength before softness. Healing is the gradual process of teaching an exhausted nervous system that the environment has finally changed, that it is safe enough to rest and let someone else carry the weight. If these patterns feel uncomfortably accurate, you are not alone. Hit that subscribe button to join Mind Decoded, and let's keep exploring the human mind together. There is a profound resilience in recognizing the moments when you no longer have to carry the world alone.